What's up, everybody? Today we're going to talk about Shakur Stevenson versus Zepeda and a lot more when we come right back. Welcome to another episode of Ringwalk Boxing Podcast. I am Bean, and today I have a special guest, my guy Bob from Canada. Welcome,
Hey,
sir.
Bean, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine, sir. How are you?
Excellent. It's been a busy day. I've been uploading videos myself all day.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So happy to have you here today.
Well, I've been a fan of your podcast for quite some time, and we've been chatting on Facebook, and it's an honor to be here, man.
Yeah, and I'm a fan of you as well. So
Thank you.
I appreciate the love is being reciprocated from you to me and vice versa. Yeah.
You know, Canada and America, we've got to try and work together, right?
Yes, sir, for sure. For sure. Yep. That's true. All right. Well, we're going to jump right into the topics. So let's talk about Usyk versus Dubois 2, the rematch.
Mm-hmm.
What you think is going to happen?
Well, I think we gotta ask ourselves a couple of questions. The first question is, how much, if at all, has Oleksandr Usyk diminished? How much did those two fights with Tyson Fury sap Usyk's strength, his ability to keep going, especially given his age? So that's question one. Question two is, how much has Daniel Dubois improved? Now, he beat Big Baby Miller, but Big Baby was not in the best of shape. He beat Filip Hrgovic, but there was a little bit of the use of the head and maybe some dark arts on the inside. And he beat AJ, but what kind of game plan did AJ have? So, yes, he's improved, but has he improved as much as the British media would like us to believe? For me, I think Usyk's going to have a harder fight than the first time, but I still think that provided the judging is fair, because I am suspicious, this is in Wembley in the UK, I think that Usyk will be able to prevail. But I'm Team Usyk all the way. So my fingers are really crossed.
Okay. I like that assessment. Usyk, I give credit where credit is due. That's the way I am. I try to be as non-biased as possible, even if I am a fan of a certain boxer.
Yeah.
I like to still be a critic.
Yeah.
I don't feel that every boxer does everything right, whether it's something in the performance or their skill or even personality, sometimes the way they project to the public. I'll always call out a person on their BS, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that being said, Dubois, he's younger. He's only like age 27. He has a lot of power in both hands. I think the first couple of rounds will tell a lot of how it may go because Usyk can mentally and physically drain you because he's so fast, he's so swift, he's so cunning. He got all these different attributes. You know, he's a southpaw. So there's a lot of things about Usyk that are complex. But I feel like if Dubois can weather the storm and doesn't fatigue and doesn't mentally wear out, he has a good chance.
Mm-hmm.
If he can get to the mid rounds and his engine is still looking like uh, it's full throttle. But if he tires out at any given point, you can call it a night.
Yeah. For me, and I'm the same as you. I'll criticize all fighters just because I like a fighter doesn't mean I'm blind to their faults. I think Dubois has to take a page out of the Derek Chisora book. He's got to put it on Usyk very hard from the very beginning. If he allows Usyk to establish a rhythm and keep that movement that Usyk is so good at, that's going to be really hard for Dubois to follow. And I don't think that Dubois is the kind of fighter that can make adjustments during the fight. He's a kind of fighter who really has to work to a plan. Like Tyson Fury, for example, Tyson Fury can throw the plan out of the window and he can figure something out.
Yes.
I'm not sure if Dubois can. So if Dubois, in my view, doesn't finish it fairly early and establish himself really early, I think it's going to be a tough night, and I think the results will be the same as last time.
That's a good perspective. I definitely feel like, as you said, Dubois needs to assert his dominance. He has to come in there and feel confident. When I see him on every recent interview, he seems to be locked in. He really has a focused look in his eye. His body language is different. I just feel like this time, even if he falls short of victory, I can see him going 12 rounds, kind of like how AJ did or Tyson did. And it should be a much better rematch than the first fight.
Yeah, I mean, I think other than the low blow in the first fight, I think Usyk probably won every minute of every round. So it was too soon, to be fair, for Daniel. He was 25 at the time. He's 27 now. He's come into his man strength. I think it'll be a better fight than it was before. Yeah.
For sure.
But I hear you. Daniel's got a lot more confidence now.
Yes.
It might be something to do with the fact that he's got a girlfriend apparently in Brazil. So that can fill a man with some confidence. You never know.
Yes, sir. For sure. All right. So we'll move to the next topic. Canelo versus Crawford. What do you feel about that?
Firstly, I must apologize. I've got a bit of a chest cold, so I do apologize to your viewers.
It's okay.
I like Bud Crawford. I like Bud Crawford a lot. Of course, I like Canelo, right? For me, this might be a bridge too far. I mean, Bud Crawford is a first ballot Hall of Famer in my view. He has never fought at 160, and now he's going into 168. He's going into 168 against, I think it's fair to say, still the very best at 168. He's going against Saul Canelo Alvarez. The issue for me is one guy is unlikely to be stopped. Canelo has a granite chin. He took shots from Triple G, for example. I'm not sure. In fact, I don't think that Bud can stop Canelo. I think Canelo knows this. So this is going to be an interesting dynamic. If one fighter knows he can't be stopped, that's going to unbalance the fight a little bit. So Bud's got to be fast. Bud's got to be landing shots, and Bud's got to be, in my view, not staying in the pocket with Canelo. So I think it's a big ask. I'm really excited because I like Bud Crawford, and it would be fabulous if he could pull it off. But for me, it's a bit of a stretch. The interesting thing is, though, the odds are tighter than I was expecting them to be. So early money, smart money, definitely sees something in Bud Crawford that they really like. What do you think?
I feel like when we think about the skill set,
Mm-hmm.
it has to go to Bud overall. Now, obviously, like you said, a granite chin,
Yeah.
the power, that's Canelo. Now, he can't be reserved like he was against William Skull.
Oh,
Canelo
no.
didn't show any eagerness to cut off the ring. He's going to be forced to cut off the ring against somebody like Bud, who has all the different intangibles and all the different ring IQ, the ring
Yeah.
generalship, and things of that nature. He's going to push every limit to where Canelo's going to have to fight. He's going to have to press the fight.
Yes. I think also we need to remember that while Bud's skills might be a little better than Canelo's, Canelo's skills are still really, really good. I think probably Bud's legs are better, but Canelo is no slouch. So like I say, it's going to be a hard night's work. I think I would be more comfortable if I'd seen Bud Crawford at least have one campaign, one fight at this weight.
Okay. And that's interesting because another guy out of Vegas in over here in America, he was feeling that way. He said he would like to have seen Bud get his feet wet versus jumping right into that weight class and going straight in with somebody like Canelo. But I feel that if anybody could pull a rabbit out the hat, it's going to be Bud Crawford. He's a very, very special fighter.
I would agree. If anyone's got this chance, it is Crawford. The thing is, excuse me, I think we have to remember also that Bud Crawford fought at 154. He has never fought even at 160. Can he bring power? We're going to find out. I'm very excited about this fight. I know that people are super excited about Dubois and Usyk, or Usyk and Dubois, I should say. But for me, I find that this fight, Canelo and Crawford, it has so many aspects to it. Me and some other guys, we did a whole show last weekend talking about this very subject. It was a real good show. It was interesting, and I learned something from the guests.
For sure, man. And you make a good point, and it's something that's been on my mind, is will Bud's power acclimate from being a smaller guy to moving up to 168? If his power can acclimate, but then they say too, it's usually the punches you don't see. And Bud is a master at that because he got the quicker hands. He's a switch hitter. He can fight southpaw and he can fight orthodox. I think he's going to use that trickery that's going to give. I think he's going to frustrate Canelo. I think he's going to frustrate him a lot in this fight.
Provided his speed does not diminish with the extra weight.
Right. That's a good point. Yeah.
because that's the other side of the coin, right?
Right.
He's got to keep his power, and he's got to keep his speed.
Right. Yeah.
And that could be a trick, right? That's going to be hard to do.
True
and
that.
he's the older guy.
Right.
He's older than Canelo, which is something I think we all sort of like forget, because Canelo's been around forever. But Bud Crawford is actually the older guy. So an older guy carrying more weight, could Bud Crawford get old overnight?
Interesting. Well, one thing about it, the only way to know is when two individuals that are being talked about step in that ring. And that's the thing about it. All the skepticism, the theories and the hypothetical things, all that matters is the moment these two guys lock horns in the center of that ring. So
yeah, well, as you know, what Mike Tyson said, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face.
Yep, that is Mike Tyson's quote. So
yeah,
we will see.
We will see.
We will definitely see. Okay, let's move on to another subject because I don't want to hold you up too long. So we did Usyk versus Dubois 2. We did Canelo versus Crawford. What about this David Benavidez fight that they're talking about with Anthony Yarde? Because initially, I believe it was going to be Callum Smith, but they couldn't come to terms. And it sounds like on the side of Callum Smith, from what I saw, evidence that basically Callum Smith, he was ducking David Benavidez. But we're going to have Anthony Yarde, who I feel fight anybody at light heavyweight. So how do you see that matchup go? And those contrasting styles with Anthony Yarde and David Benavidez.
You can laugh at me after the fight, but I'm going to say it now. David Benavidez absolutely kills Anthony Yarde. Yarde gets schooled. I'll give you my rationale, my reasoning. Yarde has had a couple of world title opportunities, and every time he stepped up, he has not been successful. That on its own is not a massive criticism. But what is a criticism is if you look at the next level down that Anthony Yarde has fought and won. His best win is against Lyndon Arthur. He lost against Lyndon Arthur, and then he rematched Lyndon Arthur. Lyndon Arthur is his best win. Lyndon Arthur is British level, maybe. And I like Lyndon Arthur. Lyndon Arthur's a good fighter, but he's British level. He's like regional level, right? So that's the best guy that Anthony Yarde has ever beaten. Benavidez is a monster. Benavidez is going to, in my view, Benavidez is going to be too much for Anthony Yarde, who, again, just one guy's opinion, I'm not sure if he really deserves a world title shot, to be honest with you. But, I mean, good luck to him. I'd take my hat off to anybody who steps through the ropes. But I think this is going to be one-sided. I think David Benavidez is going to be too much for Anthony Yarde.
And I get what you're saying, because I heard a few other people make that point. But I think it was definitely a situation of the Callum Smith fight slipping through the cracks. So they offered the opportunity to Yarde. Now, one thing I can say about him, win, lose, or draw, he's not ducking anybody, because we're in an era now where the best won't fight the best, or a top contender will duck who people consider a boogeyman. Now, whether or not you consider Benavidez a boogeyman is subjective, but some people look at him in a certain light. They call him the Mexican monster. So, we'll definitely see.
Would you say that Benavidez was like the third best light heavyweight in the world? Probably.
Yeah, probably there. Yeah, probably there.
So for Anthony Yarde to step up, that's a big step up.
It is. I'm looking at it this way. I was surprised at the performance of Yarde versus Peterviev. I didn't think Yarde would win, but he showed a level of toughness and
Mm-hmm.
dug deep. I didn't think he had that side to him. I think if he can present that in this fight with um, Benavidez and doesn't get tired, I'm concerned about his gas tank because he's a real bulk, muscular guy. So
Yeah.
hopefully, if he doesn't get winded and gassed, he can go the long haul, towards the final round. But that's my main concern with him is will his stamina and his conditioning be at its peak?
Well, I don't think he's going to get to the 12th round. I mean, he's had 3 losses, but 2 of those have been KOs. So, I mean, Benavidez can punch,
Yeah, yeah, David can
but hey, I might be completely wrong, and you can quote me when I said this, because hey, it's again one of those fights we're going to have to see.
for sure. And let me give a shout out to my family in the chat, Cam J Network. Thanks for your support, for always showing love every week. All right, let's move on to the next subject. Um, Next weekend, Stevenson versus Zepeda. I like that matchup.
I like that fight too. Um, I know people generally are sort of they say that Shakur Stevenson is not very fan friendly, but I think Shakur Stevenson is supremely skillful, and the way I see this going will depend upon one thing only, and that is Shakur Stevenson's hands. If his hands are injured or sore, and then I think that Zepeda is going to be the dominant fighter. But I think if Shakur Stevenson is in top shape, which physically he will be, but he has a problem with his hands. If his
Right, right,
hands are good, then I think Shakur has got this. I know that's a real condensed, short answer,
right,
but
right.
however I cut it, it comes back to how Shakur's hands are.
I know it's easier said than done, but he's going to have to take a page out of the Money Mayweather blueprint. Because I don't know if you remember back in the day when he went
Mm-hmm.
from Pretty Boy to being known as Money Mayweather, he had
Yeah,
suffered hand injury and he learned
yeah,
how to adapt. So I think Stevenson will have to adapt with what he has. Unfortunately, he has what people consider to be brittle hands. So he's going to have to be defensively, but he's going to have to know how to uh, outpoint Zepeda. And it's not
yeah.
going to be easy because Zepeda throws a high, I think you said like averages almost like 100 uh, punches in a round. So that type of come at you tornado, um, I don't know, man. It's going to be good. I'm going to say 50-50.
Well, I think it's 50-50. To me, this is a classic, almost boxer brawler type fight. I don't mean to be disrespectful to Zepeda. He's more
Mm-hmm.
than a brawler, but it's got that classic sort of technician against high volume pressure fighter. It's going to be really interesting fight. Um, I think it might be better than the main event. I mean, the main event is interesting as well, but I like this fight. In fact, I like both of them. I like both the main events and this. I think it's co-main, I guess.
Right, right. And I'm gonna just put it out there. I know you don't follow women's boxing as much, but they're having
Not as
a
much.
women's card on Friday, so I'll probably
I
watch
saw.
that, and then on Saturday
I saw the whole card. Yeah,
watch Shakur.
looked good.
Yeah, because I like to be
It looks very
entertained,
good.
so I'm gonna definitely look at it. Then I'll come back on here and talk about it. Next week.
You know, I'll explain to people watching why I don't really follow the women's game. And it's a funny reason, maybe a chauvinistic reason, some people might say. I've been a fan of boxing since I was a little boy in the 1960s,
Okay.
and I've seen women's boxing come, and I've seen it get established, and they're great athletes, like the Katie Taylor Cameron fight on the undercard of Jake Paul and Tyson was an excellent fight. But I know this sounds silly. I hate to see women get hit. It's just like I sort of want to watch between my fingers,
Okay, I hear you. Yeah,
I know it's
I
silly,
can
old
understand it.
fashioned.
Yes, sir. I understand. Uh, so let me see. Let's Oh yeah, we talked about this in the inbox when we went back and forth. So let's talk about the triangle: AJ, Fury, Wilder. Do we
Okay.
feel that we see AJ versus Wilder or AJ versus Fury? Me personally, I feel like the Fury fight is more important in the eyes of AJ. I think AJ, they have a history. Uh, Fury talked about the old sparring story where Anthony Joshua roughed him up. So I think it's only right that they get it on. And if you look at
Well,
Fury versus Wilder, I feel like Fury has a lot more left in the reserve tank. Whereas Wilder in his last fight, it's like any second now, he fights another puncher, he's gonna get laid out.
well, Fury and AJ, of course, is that classic Battle of Britain. And, the British boxing public are either supporting of one and hating the other or vice versa. So it would sell out Wembley Stadium. It would be a 90,000 plus kind of audience. Um, Ironically, in a way, because I think that Fury might win against AJ, I think that Fury has never wanted any of the AJ smoke. And I think AJ has been the one who has always been doing the running to try and get Fury into the ring. The only time that Fury seemed interested in fighting AJ is when AJ was coming off a loss to Andy Ruiz, I guess. Will we see that fight? Well, Fury says he wants to come back to fight Usyk. But if Usyk loses to Dubois, there has to be a rematch. And if Usyk beats Dubois, really, I think there are better, more deserving candidates like Ajit Kabayel and Joseph Parker for a shot at Usyk.
Absolutely.
I think the money fight has to be AJ and Fury. I would like to see AJ fight Wilder, just to draw a line under the era, but a period at the end of the sentence, if you like. AJ and Wilder, my God, it's whoever lands first.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Yeah,
I'll go with AJ as almost a coin toss. But Bean, I agree with you. Wilder, I'd like to see Wilder retire. He doesn't owe anybody anything. I think he's risking his health continuing. It's a little bit sad. It's a story we've seen in boxing as long as boxing has been around.
absolutely. Yeah, because when I saw his last performance, I'm like,
Uh,
he just don't have it. When you really only have one major weapon, which is your right hand, and you have a lot of heart. But other
yeah,
than that, that'll only take you so far. And
yeah,
provided he was limited, he started boxing late. You can't teach an old dog new tricks, you know, and uh you can't instill something in a fighter if they're not willing to want to learn. I feel like Wilder believed in his power so much, he kind of abandoned the basic fundamentals. Like, why do all this when I have a right hand, and if it lands, I'm gonna end the night.
Well, there's two things that come to mind. One is Wilder's been boxing for the last 20 something years. I'm still
Yes,
surprised that he looks so untrained in a way.
yes,
Um, and, and secondly, that power, it's not like he was heavy handed like George Foreman against Michael Moorer. Heavy hands. Wilder is fast twitch muscle. It's like a whip, and
yeah.
he's lost that bit of
Mm-hmm.
speed. So that hand, when it lands, and it did land against Herndon
Herndon,
a couple of
yeah.
times, but it
Mm-hmm.
was no longer that snap. It was
Yeah,
it was almost like slow motion, and it doesn't have the same impact effect.
there it
So
is.
I'm
Yep.
with you. I
Yeah.
think I think Deontay should just take it easy, look after his family. He's got millions and millions of dollars. Enjoy retirement.
Yeah. I mean, in a sense, he reminds me of a heavyweight version to an extent of Tommy the Hitman Hearns. Kind
Yeah.
of tall, lanky, real slim build, but like you said, they had that twitch muscle fibers, and it was so fast. When they came with it, it was like a cannon or some heavy object on the end of a chain that
Yeah.
swinging towards you with all that velocity on the end of it and that power and that momentum. It causes a lot of damage, and I think that's how Wilder was able to go as far as he did in the
Yeah.
heavyweight
And he was
division.
very well managed.
He was, yeah, he was.
Yeah. Like if you analyze if you analyze his resume, and for that matter Fury's resume, yeah, we're not talking of real deep resumes here.
Right, for sure. And I have been critical myself of the resumes. Now, hypothetically speaking, should we get Fury versus AJ, what would be your prediction, or how does it play out?
Well, I think really it will come down to mental toughness more than anything. If AJ can get his head correct, then I would expect AJ to be the fitter, the stronger, and the harder punching of the two boxers. Fury has the still probably got better movement, better ring IQ, better ring generalship, and undoubtedly far better powers of recovery. What I'm saying is, if AJ puts Fury down, Fury might get up. If AJ goes down, AJ seems to have a very poor level of recovery. It seems to take a almost a round or two for him to shake the cobwebs. So I I would I would if they fought, I would say 55-45 in favor of Fury. But will they fight? Who knows? Tyson Fury probably doesn't know either.
Yeah. Somebody put a comment. Shout outs to the boxing source. He does a podcast. He said it's not that he can learn new tricks. Wilder should have been able to flatten Herndon in Kansas. There wasn't a definitive knockdown in that fight. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
I
given the
agree
level of opposition, Wilder should have destroyed Herndon inside a round, right?
for sure. I would think so. No more than 2 rounds. So I think the ship has sailed when it comes to Wilder, but we'll
Yeah,
see what he and his management is going to do next.
but God bless him. He did really well given the talents he had. He made the absolute most out of them, and he entertained a lot of people. And personally, I want to see more American heavyweights. I grew up watching American heavyweights. I'm tired of all the heavyweights coming out of Europe and Britain. I want to see some more American heavyweights. Um, you know, but, and where are they?
Yeah, hopefully, in due time, somebody will start to surface in the heavyweight division out of America, and we don't have to resort to Big Baby Miller.
Uh,
you know, he's just a lot of
well,
he's just a character, and he has a whole
yeah,
lot to say.
yeah, he sure has a lot to say.
Yep. Um, I want to say shout outs to my friend Rob Elmore. What's going on, buddy? Cam J, I appreciate you again. Uh, AR, you said make American heavyweights great again. Well, we have to see, man, what the future holds. You know, it's not been big in boxing over here in America like in the '90s when you had Holyfield and we had Mike Tyson. Even the guys that weren't champs or ex champs, they were just tough guys. Burt Cooper, Ray Mercer, Razor Ruddock. It was so many good fighters in the '90s era.
Donovan Razor Ruddock was a Canadian.
Oh yeah. Now,
Yeah.
was he born in like Jamaica and then moved to Canada or something? I can't remember.
I think he was born in one of the Caribbean countries. Yeah. So we had Razor Ruddock, and of course we had Lennox Lewis as well. Lennox
Right.
Lewis represented Canada. The Brits used to laugh at Lennox. They never really sort of accepted him. And then when Lennox was world champion, then all of a sudden they wanted to repatriate him. Oh yeah, yeah, he's one of ours now.
Right. Yep. So we got a couple more topics real quick.
You got a couple more topics before you let me go, eh? Okay, I'll do my best.
Okay. Time? A little.
Yeah, I got another, 5 minutes or so, 10 minutes
Okay.
maybe. So
Okay.
yeah, just let me know what you let me know what you want me to opine upon, and
Okay.
I'll do my best.
All right. We got like one or two more things. So what about the Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach Jr. rematch?
Well, let's go back to the first fight. The first fight, I have no idea what was going on with Tank Davis. I have no idea what was going on with the ref, and it was news to me in watching boxing for over 55 years to see somebody go back to the corner without permission and get some attention. I mean, that was simply craziness to me. I felt like my head was spinning around like I'd never seen such a thing in a boxing ring before. Um, I thought Lamont Roach was very composed. I really, really, I hadn't, like I was strongly expecting Tank Davis to win, and so Roach was really impressed me, and the way he kept his composure, um, he gained a fan, I suppose. Now, how does the rematch go? Is it a case that Roach had his one chance and he wasn't quite able to seal a deal, or do we think that Roach has got Tank's number? Um, for me, I would expect Tank Davis to have gone back, recalibrated, come up with a different plan, and I think we're going to see a different Tank. That's just my feeling. Um, I mean, it's anybody's guess, right? I really would like to see Roach do very well. I think he got a raw deal the first time around, but Tank's really hard to beat. If Tank's on form, he's a great fighter.
Yes. And I feel the rematch, I'm not going to say night and day, but I feel like, Roach will have some moments, but I think eventually he'll get caught in the trap. I think that Tank will systematically and in a calculated way catch him with that punch he won't see. He won't be so. I think in the first fight he might have even not went full throttle as he could have. I don't know if he thought that Lamont would come out the way he did and kind of like stand at range like that, because most guys won't do that with Tank. So now that Tank realizes that, okay, he can stand in the pocket, so I think he'll devise a plan for a KO.
That's how I see it. I mean, great fighters will, he will have been learning, right? Like he's in the ring, he's in the fight, he's learning, he's downloading, and he's recalibrating, and he's coming back with a different game plan. So that's how I see it. Not exactly night and day like you, but I see Tank having learned and applying those learnings.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, great analysis. So we got one final topic, and I'll let you go.
So long as it's not about the 51st states. Don't ask me about 51st states.
This one would be, can you guess what it is? It's about an upcoming fight.
Hamza Shiraz?
The young heavyweight that everybody talks about out of UK.
Oh. Young Moses.
Young Moses versus Dillian Whyte. Interesting matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I think Dillian is well past his best. My own feeling on this is Moses Atoma, who does so many things right. I know he's not been really tested yet. I understand that. But he has been in with Dempsey McCain, who took Hrgovic a whole fight to get rid of, and Moses made it look easy. Now, Moses' last adventure, that made no sense to me. I thought that was stupid. I cannot explain Moses' last opponent. So going forward to Dillian Whyte, Dillian Whyte will be a name. Dillian Whyte's a name. Was Dillian Whyte a true world-class fighter? Maybe. Certainly isn't now. Well past his best. I would expect Moses Atoma to see off Dillian Whyte in about 5 rounds or so. I think the name is good, but, it's beating a name when the name is no longer the man he used to be is not, looks good on BoxRec. Looks like Jake Paul beat Mike Tyson on BoxRec. Sure, okay.
I mean, you have to edge the younger, fresher Moses, but in the same aspect, I look at it like Dillian has one heck of a resume. He's fought AJ. He's fought Joseph Parker in a rough fight and edged it. He's fought Chisora twice. Won the rematch by knockout, Dillian Whyte, that left hook. So he knows what it's like to be in deep water. Moses has not been at a level like Dillian to be in that deep water. So if he has a AJ versus Ruiz one moment and the tide and the current gets rough, how is Moses going to answer back? Or how will he take when he's get his bell rung with that real solid punch?
My my response to that, because I think that's a great question, my response to that is Dillian Whyte 2025 is not, in my view, able to take advantage. Whereas, quite frankly, I know this might sound silly, Derek Chisora 2025, in my view, would give Moses a harder time. Now, Chisora, of course, has declined.
Right.
But I think Dillian has declined more. This is not the Dillian that beat Povetkin. It's not the Dillian that even lost in 2022 to Tyson Fury. This is the Dillian who, I mean, he fought Ebenezer Tete last time.
Right.
Like Ebenezer Tete. I think Ebenezer Tete went to school the same time as I went to school. Like, how old is Ebenezer Tete? That was a joke. I mean, if Mr. Tete's watching, I'm sure he's not a day over 50.
Oh, man, that's a good one. Yeah, man. So I'm looking forward to next weekend for sure. And then in the future, I would like to be a guest on yours.
Absolutely.
As well.
There's an open invitation whenever you'd like to, maybe even after next weekend's fight, we can have a chat and a debrief. We can talk about Hamza Shiraz as well, how that fight goes out against Berlanger. That could be interesting. So, yeah, there's a stand. Just shoot me a note and we'll tee something up. It's been great to be your guest. I really, I hope your viewers have enjoyed it. And I apologize for my cough here that may have been harsh on the ears. But it's been really enjoyed it. Good conversation.
For sure, man. For sure.
Can I give my channel a shout out? Is that okay?
For sure. Absolutely.
So Canada's boxing channel, I don't just cover Canada, cover the United States, Europe, UK, Australasia. Stop by. I put something out every day. We have guests. And just stop by and say hi. Say that Ringwalk Boxing Podcast sent you, because that's the channel that I'd be looking for.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely, man. The feeling is mutual. To my viewers and my fans, check out Canada's boxing channel. He has a good channel. He's a really good man, laid back, and we sit back every now and then, and we like to politic boxing. He's been a fan for many, many years, and I've been a fan myself since the 1980s, mid 1980s, up until now. All right, brother. Well, you have a good one, and we will talk soon.
Well, thank you so much for the invite. I really appreciate it. You have a fabulous evening. Thank you very much.
All right, my friend. All right, y'all. So we had a nice segment today with Bob of Canada's boxing channel. We talked some topics. The floor is open. If anybody wants to jump in and go over some of these topics that I talked about this evening, we can get it on. And just give me 1 second, y'all. I'm gonna browse over these chats here. Hey, what's up, Tax? You said Dillian Whyte is cooked. Yeah, man. His best days are definitely behind him. AR, Moses versus Whyte. Moses will win in round 8. Yeah. He'll definitely clip Dillian Whyte in the later rounds, and it'll be over. Tax, you said Lamont held his own, but he didn't look spectacular. AR, you said Tank versus Roach Jr. Tank will improve, learning, and this time around, Tank will win. That's how I feel. I feel like in the rematch, Tank, he's going to be all the way turned up. He's going to be all the way locked in, focused, and so much happened after that first fight with people saying that he should have lost and that the fact that he took a knee should have cost him to where it shouldn't have been a draw and things of that nature. And then um, Lamont Roach going on different platforms and saying that he was robbed, like it was some huge margin, like he won by a huge margin. If anything, playing devil's advocate, even if he would have won, it would have been no greater than a 7 to 5. He's making it seem like he put on a master class on Tank Davis, and it wasn't nothing like that. I mean, he did good to make it to the final round because when you're in there with Tank, most people do not see the final bell. Tax, you said Barry Hunter gave Tank terrible instructions. Um, I feel that, man. I feel like that, Tax. I feel like that Hunter he's cool, but he can never fill the shoes of Calvin Ford. Only one Calvin Ford, and he has a certain chemistry with Tank, like a father and a son. They have a special bond, and I think if Calvin is the head coach in this rematch, Tank will get the knockout. AR, you said Eubank versus Ben 2 will sell seats and people will watch the fight, but the fight doesn't mean anything. Yeah, man, it's gonna definitely be a barn burner, man. Um, like the first one, but I think Eubank will be healthier. He won't have to try to lose all that weight like he had to do and look unhealthy and look drained in the first fight. I think this rematch, he'll be at the level of the weight that he should. He won't be dehydrated looking. Tax, you said if it was a lot of close rounds, you give the close rounds to the champ. Absolutely. You definitely do. Boxing source, you said AJ versus Fury in the UK, it would do good, man, for sure. Rob Elmore, you said Wilder was my guy, and he at looked at as an overachiever. Very well managed. I agree with Eugene. Wilder fell in love with his right hand. He used the jab against shorter fighters. Absolutely, Rob. Absolutely. Um, Rob, you said it was supposed to see Anderson, but he was destroyed by Bacoli. Yeah, he was supposed to be uh, the next American champ, but Big Baby Anderson, man, he's good, but he's not at a world level, in my opinion. Michael Ware, when did Wilder use the jab? Um, Rob Elmore, you said Tank will be better prepared this time around and will stop Roach in 8 rounds. I think we all agree, man, that majority of us agree that Tank is going to be the one getting his hand raised in the rematch for sure. Boxing source, you said AR, yeah, that fight was terrible. Rob Elmore, you said Dillian Whyte has been cooked. He was an average fighter to me, and his fans have always tried to put him in a category he didn't belong. Yeah, Dillian Whyte is not what you call greatness or even world level, but Dillian is just a guy that every time he steps in there, it's going to be an exciting fight. He's going to go toe to toe. He doesn't care what you're throwing at him. So that's why his fights are so um, like a Derek Chisora. You know, these guys don't have skills. Skills go out the door, but they're always bringing a live fight because they love to bring toe to toe action. Michael Ware, you said, I guess pertaining to the Tank versus Roach Junior rematch. You saying it it is signed and hasn't been announced, or you asking has it been signed? I wasn't sure what you meant. Make sure you hit the thumbs up, y'all. Mike Ware, Rob Elmore said, check his fights. Deontay Wilder fight with Areola and Duopas. Chris Areola and Duopas. Check it out. Rob Elmore, against tall fighters, Wilder jab was ineffective. Greetings to you, cuzzo. Down south, greetings. So what y'all think about Usyk versus Dubois, the rematch? Will Daniel Dubois stop Usyk or even get a knockout? Because I talked to my guy earlier, shout out to Sean Blackwell, and he feels that Dubois will win by stoppage. I've been kind of back and forth. You know, I edged Usyk because of his dynamic level of skills, his skill set, and the fact that he has not lost. But you know, they always say it's the first time for everything. So I feel like Dubois is going to have a very good game plan for the rematch. Tax, you said Ringwalk. Did you already assess Shakur versus Zepeda? Yeah, we did a little bit, man. I'm calling it a 50-50 personally. And my dude over in Canada, Bob, he was saying that he feels that Zepeda will get outboxed by Shakur, but we said 50-50 overall because he's worried about Shakur Stevenson's hands. He thinks if Shakur had healthy hands, he would definitely win more decisively. But, you know, being that Shakur got brittle hands, we don't know how he will do with the type of pressure that Zepeda is going to bring, because he's going to have to fight him. Even Shakur said that in the interview. I'm going to have to fight. Boxing Source, you said I'm leaning towards Usyk. I am too, man. I edge Usyk, but something about Dubois just makes me feel he's going to give a much better account of himself. Cam J, you said they both in camp, Mike. They got a whole undercard locked. The fight is locked. Just got to be announced. And Boxing Source, you said Cam J, correct. All right, so you heard it from two people. Cam J and Boxing Source said the Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach is signed and everything. It just has to be officially announced, but it's going to happen. AR, Usyk versus Dubois 2. Usyk will win on late knockouts. That's what I feel, man, that if it happens that way, he can get Dubois. If Dubois, his conditioning to where he getting tired in the later rounds, the championship rounds, round 10, round 9. Between 9, 10, and 11, Dubois can get fatigued. And if he does get fatigued, mentally and physically drained, Usyk will take advantage. And he will go full throttle. He will accelerate with no brakes. And he's going to stop Daniel Dubois. But if Daniel Dubois has enough conditioning, I feel that he can go in the trenches in those championship rounds. Tax, you said I got Usyk by late stoppage. Great prediction, bro. Boxing Source. Roach is out by Plant City training. Oh, okay, Plant City in Florida. Training at the Pro Box joint. Okay, that's what's up, man. Rob Elmore. If Dubois does stop Usyk, it will be between rounds 1 through 5. Anything after that is Usyk. Great assessment, bro. Very great assessment. I agree. Because Dubois is going to have to dig in, and Usyk gets better as the rounds go on because he's normally a later starter anyway. So if Dubois has success, he needs to stop Usyk early. Stop him by round 6. AR, you said when Usyk wins this fight, he will retire from boxing. There's a very good possibility. Now, if he wins, though, the question is, with Tyson Fury pressing and trying to force a trilogy third fight, will Usyk grant Fury a trilogy, even if he wins? Cam J, you said I got Usyk by decision or late stoppage. Yes, sir. I mean, hey, that's a very logical prediction, my bro. So I mean, it could definitely go. It can go either way, man. But Usyk, to me, edges it for sure, just because he's acclimated to the heavyweight division very well. He's fought the biggest hitters. He fought Dubois once. I mean, he's fought every hitter except for Deontay Wilder, but he fought AJ twice. He's fought Dubois once, and will fight him in 2 weeks. And he fought Tyson Fury. So we know he can go in the trenches, and we know his adaptability is not like a normal human being. Like a normal human being, he's very special. Tax, you said Lamont Roach isn't this hell of a fighter that they are portraying him to be. He did solid. I mean, I guess in this rematch is going to speak a lot of volumes on how really good Lamont Roach Jr. is, because if he's saying that he was robbed and that he won, then that means you can take it to another level in the rematch to secure the win, where you're leaving no doubt to where people can't even say it's a 7-5 or a 6-6 even. you're going to push the limit a little bit more and maybe even get a stoppage. Now, I'm not saying I believe this, y'all. It's just me speaking on behalf of Lamont Roach Jr. I feel like Tank is going to win, but I'm trying to put myself in both positions and looking at the perspective from both angles. Cam J, I appreciate the love, man. Yep, hit the like button, y'all. And what about something we talked about earlier was David Benavidez versus Anthony Yarde. David Benavidez versus Anthony Yarde. Predictions, or how do you see that fight playing out, y'all? Because Bob, he felt that David Benavidez will stop. He's going to stop Anthony Yarde. So I want to know what y'all think. Because I could see it going that way for sure. I could see David Benavidez stopping Anthony Yarde for sure. But I could see the first few rounds being a lot of action and a lot of back and forth. Cam J, you said DB by stoppage. Yeah, man. That seems to be the consensus of most people, man. Everybody's feeling that David Benavidez is going to stop and make a statement with Yarde. And he needs to, because if he can make a statement with Yarde and then go in with that momentum to fight the winner of Beterbiev versus Dimitri Bivol, that's a good thing, man. That's a good thing. If he can make somewhat of a easy work on Yarde. But I don't feel like Yarde is just a pushover either, but he didn't look so good in his last outing. But I don't want to go based just off his last fight. I want to go based off a few different fights, because you never know. Sometimes a fighter turns up. You know, they come in not so good one fight, the next fight, kind of like Teofimo Lopez. His performance in Madison, not in Madison Square, but in Times Square, his performance was a lot better than what you might expect. It's like a seesaw. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down, you know, kind of back and forth. Tax, you said I got David by late stoppage. Rob Elmore, you said Yarde has good management. Laugh out loud. This guy has gotten more title shots than a little bit and has not taken advantage of it. Benny stops him. Well, to be fair, last night, Cam J, on his live, he cleared it up. And if Cam J sends it to me, or he can send it directly to you on Messenger. But basically what happened was Callum Smith and them ducked. They ducked the smoke with David Benavidez. So then Yarde got the opportunity. So it's a situation basically where Yarde should be counting his blessings that this pretty much fell in his lap. But Cam J got the he got the evidence of that, the conversations and the interview. It was like 2 or 3 interviews with Eddie Hearn, and Callum Smith did not want to smoke. When you read between the lines. AR, you said Benavidez versus Yarde. Benavidez by 5 TKO in round 5. Yeah, that sounds legit. That sounds legit. Round 5, round 7, yeah. Definitely I could see Benavidez getting that stoppage, man. Tax says salute to Cam J Network. Absolutely. Absolutely. Salute to Cam J for sure. Tax, you said you already got black and mild lungs late in fights. Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah, man. Either black and mild or I don't know his ethnicity if he's from Jamaica, but maybe some of that good ganja or something. But he got something in his lungs for sure. Because he be gassing out, man. Mike Ware, you said, I think David will win. I don't see a stoppage. He hasn't hurt a light heavyweight. Also, Yarde hits harder than anyone David has fought. Yeah, David's going to win, like you said. Stoppage, possibly, because don't look at it so much of the early rounds. Think about the championship in the later rounds. If Yarde starts to get fatigued, and it don't matter who you are, any boxer gets fatigued, chances are you're going to go down. Even when Chisora, who has a pretty good chin, when he started to get tired against Usyk, you saw him get buckled in the late rounds. He didn't get dropped, but he was buckled. Tax, you said Yarde can definitely crack, though, for sure, man. He definitely can. Rob Elmore, you said, already knew about the video, and Mike Ware didn't agree. Rob Elmore, you said, I watched them. Smith is mandatory to Bivol. AR, you said Callum Smith ducking Benavidez. Absolutely. Absolutely. The writing is on the wall. For sure, man. The writing is on the wall. Cam J, you said Mike Ware, just say you hate all PBC fighters and Al Heyman. You always coming up here with these dumbass Rick Glazier takes. Nobody cares, bro. That's funny, man. Cam J, you said, actually, Bean, I got the video for DB getting ducked by Callum Smith dropping on my channel as we speak. Okay, that's what's up, man. You got the receipts, man. I love it. Rob Elmore, you said, get him, bro. Michael Ware, he had 2 title shots and lost to Kovalev and Beterbiev. David was not ducked. The fight was offered by Turkey, and David turned it down. Then they couldn't make numbers work. Rob Elmore, you said, Mike, Turkey said he wanted nothing to do with Benny versus Bivol. What are you talking about? Mike Ware, you said they didn't show the whole interview. Cam J, you said, Rob, he be out of pocket. I'm like, bruh, if you watch my content, you know everything you need to know. We cover the hottest topics daily in boxing. And Michael Ware, you respond to Cam J saying, everything I say turns out to be true. Your boy David bent the knee. All right, let's talk about Canelo and Bud Crawford, y'all. Tax, what do you feel about Canelo versus Crawford, Bud Crawford? Can Bud Crawford do what everybody thinks that he won't pull off? A lot of people feel like he's way too small and there's no way that he even has a chance of beating Canelo because of his size. What do you think, Tax? What do y'all think about Bud Crawford and Canelo Alvarez? Also, what do y'all think about Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda? You said you got Bud. That's what's up, man. He's a very special fighter, man, for sure. And then what y'all think about Joseph Parker, like with everything going on with the rematch in like 2 weeks with Dubois and Usyk? What do you think Joseph Parker will do next? Between him and Caballero, Ajit Caballero, I think somebody said Caballero is fighting in Germany or somewhere. I gotta look it up, but he has a fight coming up. Meanwhile, what is Joseph Parker? What's going on with him? Tax, you said it's going to be a tough. It's going to be tough, but I got Bud. I do too, man. Definitely, definitely. Cam J, you said Rob selective hearing like a mofo. That's why he be getting cooked in debates. Rob, you said Bud by unanimous decision. Mike Ware, you said most stupidity from Robert. The fight was offered in May. Cam J just dropped a video in the chat, y'all. Video drop DB duck by Callum Smith. Boom, he got a receipt right there, y'all. That's irrefutable. He got the evidence right there. You know, certain things you can't argue. Yeah. So check it out after the live, please, or copy it so it doesn't play on your live. Mike Ware, you said Canelo wins. Bud hasn't fought a year fight night. He didn't look good his last fight. Well, I mean, you can kind of go based on, or some say, what have you done for me lately? We talked about that last night with Cam J on his platform with shout out to Marcus, Ohio Runs Boxing. And he was saying that he looked at it a little different. Marcus did. He said he looks at it depending on the matchup. Because like he said, Marcus was saying, like, okay, if you step in there and you're fighting a guy that they consider to be I would hate to use the term, but a tomato can, that you're supposed to handle business with him. Versus if you fought a person who was a top contender versus a lower tier fighter, chances are you're going to take the guy on the lower level and pretty much rinse him and walk through him. But there's going to be a lot more resistance higher up that ladder or whatever. Bud, I think, is going to turn up for this fight. I think he knows what's at stake, and you can see confidence all over him. The body language, the conversations, even though he's kind of calm, I think it's like the calm before the storm. I think Bud is just a relaxed, laid back, demeanor type dude. And I think that once he gets in the ring, he's a whole different animal. The way Bud fights versus his the way he acts as far as his demeanor, and he's laid back, he's a whole different beast in that ring. So don't let his kindness fool you. And Bud is a lot stronger than what people know too. He's very, very strong. Mike, where you said When did I get cooked? Everything I said is true. Cam J said Callum Smith didn't even take the money from Turkey to fight David Benavidez. That's how you know he ain't want to smoke with David Benavidez. Good point. Michael Ware, I saw his video. He cut half of the interview out. Rob, you said Cam J, Mike missed that part about Turkey offering money for the fight and Callum turned it down. Tax, you said the 1 year layoff and 2 weight jumps. Concerns you. Yeah, I mean, jumping up that level, 2 weight classes, like you said, and ring rust, that combination is a terrible combination. But you know, hey, if anybody could pull off this, man, it would be Bud. Because Bud is he's just different, man. And I'm an Errol Spence fan, you know, personally. I'm an Errol Spence fan, but I got to give credit where it's due. That's just how I do, man. I'm not going to try to downplay Bud Crawford just because I'm an Errol Spence fan. I'm going to give Bud his props, you know. Rob Elmore, you said Bud layoff won't matter. He's too smart to be caught clean all night by Canelo. Bud will make him reset. Absolutely. Great point, Rob Elmore. Great point, man. He's definitely going to do, by calculative design, he's going to be moving lateral, and he's going to use his faster footwork, and he's going to make Canelo reset. Now, the thing that Bob talked about earlier was that will the extra weight affect the wittiness of Bud Crawford? Will he slow down because of the extra weight? You know, is that a concern of yours? I don't know. Cam, you said Bud better get a knockout or pitch a shutout, or he going to lose. Turkey won't give him the decision over Canelo, especially with Canelo having 2 more fights on the deal with Turkey. And Cam J, you said at Rob, exactly. Checkmate. It's too easy cooking, Mike. Mike, you said Turkey offered it in May. David said he was a Vegas fighter. Rob, you said, does anyone think Canelo could get the Vegas decision if the fight is close? Oh man, I would hate to think that he could, but man, this is boxing, man, and a lot of times things can get kind of sketchy with decisions and things like that. I hope that they have fair judges and that everything's on a even playing field. But you know, as Cam was saying, I feel like that Bud needs to win decisively and convincingly, and not too close. A 7-5 ain't enough. He needs to win 8 rounds to 4, or even better, if he can stop him by some miracle. If the smaller man can stop the bigger man, then he got the cat in the bag. But that's a big ask, you know. That's a big ask. But hey, in boxing, anything is possible. Cam J, you said Mike, womp womp womp. You barbecue chicken, Mike. Just stop it, bro. Mike Ware, you said, how is Bud going to make him reset? He has the best jaw in boxing. Explain how Bud will hurt him. Rob, you said, I agree, Eugene. Bud will have to sell everything he does. Yeah, man, for sure, man. For sure. And Michael Ware, you said you can't cook me. That's what's up, Mike. You standing your ground, man. Whenever y'all get together, it's always gonna be a debate. That's for sure. It's all good though, man. It's all love, y'all. Um, I'm still with y'all, so let me go check my FB real fast since I'm connected to there as well. Oh yeah, I said a little interview earlier with Berlanga. Of course, he's from New York, and he's down with TS. So shout out to TS, Fat Joe, Terror Squad. Okay. All right, yeah, I'm back here on YouTube, y'all. Um, Cam J, you said including Shakur this upcoming Saturday, he need to win by clear decision or KO versus Zepeda. Turkey been playing a lot of games with Shakur on this build up for the fight. Rob Elmore, you said Mike, Canelo's style has not changed, and he has to set to get great leverage on his shots. Bud will be moving, so Canelo can't set up to get good leverage. Great point, Rob Elmore. Uh, Michael, Michael, where you said Mike, right. You and Robert are lost. You really said Wilder had a good jab. I don't know that he said he had a good jab. He spoke on the jab, but I don't think he said it was a good jab necessarily. But I guess they're saying that he used the jab more than he normally has. KMJ, you put Mike Ware. You're like 0-50 in debates with me. You always lose. You easy work. Oh man, y'all hilarious tonight. I love it. Rob Elmore, you said I said against shorter fighters, and you did specify that he struggled with longer reach and taller fighters. So we talked a little bit about Bud. So y'all think Bud? Let me see. Let me go back up here. Cam J, you said including Shakur this upcoming Saturday, he needs to win by clear decision or KO versus Zepeda. Turkey been playing a lot of games with Shakur on the build up to this fight. Yeah, man, I've been seeing a lot of things, man. Tax. He said 0-50. It's funny, man. Rob Elmore, you said you said who can AJ fight next if the Fury fight doesn't come off? I'll say this, Rob, and let me know what y'all think, fellas. If AJ doesn't get the fight with Fury next, if Dubois loses to Fury, I mean, if Dubois loses to Usyk, that might be the time that AJ wants to rematch Dubois because he'll be coming off a loss as well. or maybe Joseph Parker and AJ can rematch, just to buy time until one of those guys get a shot at the belts, depending if the belts get fragmented after Undisputed happens in like 2 weeks or whatever. I'm pretty sure somebody's going to vacate a belt or something like that, and there'll be a belt for somebody to fight for. Of course, the WBC, I believe, would be for Ajit Kabiel to get a shot at it first. Michael Ware, you said, I pay no attention to Robert. Actually, Turkey said his plans are ruined if Shakur loses. Tax, you said, I personally feel AJ want no part of Daniel Dubois. I mean, there's that possibility because he did get done bad in the first fight, but AJ is one to where if you look at his resume, he's always finding the tougher fighters. You know what I'm saying? So he might run it back. He ran him back with Andy Ruiz when he was advised not to take an immediate rematch, and he did. Cam J, you said Mike Ware, Turkey want Zepeda to fight Andy Cruz. He got plans for Zepeda. He don't have no plans for Shakur like that. And Mike Ware, you said, so explain Arthur Spilka. The comments I hear from y'all. Now, let's talk about that right before we wrap it up, y'all. I'll talk about one more thing because I brought it up with Bob on Canada's boxing channel when he was on here. It's Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano on the women's card Friday, end of the week. I just personally feel like Serrano won the second fight. Now, the first fight can be kind of debatable that it could have went either way maybe, but I feel like the second fight, Serrano should have won. So I feel like in the trilogy, in the third fight, that unfortunately the cards are stacked against Serrano. I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist or nothing, but if I'm looking at it for what it is, it just seems like what more can Serrano do to win a fight against Taylor? It's almost like they give Katie Taylor the same treatment they give Canelo. It's like certain people are like untouchable, and when it comes to a decision, it seems like they never lose that decision because of who they are. They have a certain star power. I feel like Canelo has star power to where, and it could be, the money involved too, that if it's a decision and you don't beat them convincingly, they're going to always win a decision. I feel like Katie Taylor is going to always beat Serrano regardless, unless Serrano can knock her out or stop her. But what's y'all thoughts about Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano 3, the trilogy? You said, Mike, where I can see you don't watch interview. And Michael, where you said Amanda if she don't get robbed again. That's how I feel. KMJ, you said if they rob Serrano in this fight, I'ma cause a riot on my channel next weekend. On the Lord, bro. Yeah, man. We're gonna see, man, because it seems like no matter what Serrano does, how technical she is, how clutch she is, she was even in the rematch had that bad cut from a headbutt, and then the fact the ref ain't really giving no warnings to Katie Taylor. She's leading in with her head all the time. So hopefully there's a better referee that will referee that kind of stuff, that stops the dark art, as Bob will call it, when you're doing like little slick stuff like the headbutts and stuff. I hope they can put a stop to that, at least to reduce it, because Katie Taylor was just using her head so much as her weapon, and that wasn't cool. Cam J, you said I got. You said you got Amanda winning this one finally. I feel like too, man. I feel like this is gonna be the time she's gonna win, man. It's just like it's unfair because it's like she has to go and do a lot more. She can't fight a certain game plan because she feels like the judge is going to take a victory from her. So therefore, she has to step her game up more, and stepping your game up more sometimes put you in a position of doing certain things you wouldn't normally do. So she might have to set a pace a lot more, like, punching more or whatever, being more busy. But the more busy you are, the more opportunity your opponent might catch you with a counter punch or something like that. It's unfortunate that they treat her like that. Cam J, you said the woman card. I can't wait to watch all these women get it. Oh yeah, for Friday, man, it's gonna be popping, fam, for sure. And make sure you hit the thumbs up button, y'all. And I appreciate everybody who tuned in. Tonight. I'm gonna get ready to call it a night, man. I appreciate all of you guys following through all the time like y'all do. And once again, shout outs to Bob over at Canada's boxing channel. If you look up Canada's boxing channel on FB, I believe he has a like page. So hit thumbs up on his like page. Also, the link is in the description for Canada's boxing channel. So show my guy some love, y'all. Show him some love. And everyone have a good night. And I'll see y'all next weekend when we talk about the women's card from Friday and Shakur Stevenson and that whole card on Saturday. Next Sunday is gonna be a nice segment because we got plenty to talk about with all these upcoming fights. Cam J, you said watch this all women card outdo some of the men next Friday. I feel the same way. The women don't play around, man. The women show up and show out. Cousin D, you said great evening and remainder of the week, of the work week. Same to you, Cuzzo. I appreciate you. Shout outs to Cam J. You said you sub to Canada's boxing channel. So for all you that are here tonight, make sure you hit the thumbs up and make sure you look at the description. The link is there, y'all. So everyone have a safe week, and I will catch y'all in the next round, y'all. Peace.